But the war needs to end.
South Australia's Emergency Management Cabinet Committee will meet today to address the algal bloom crisis along the state's coastline. The federal government yesterday announced a $14 million one-off payment to help the state deal with the toxic mess. While pressure is mounting on the WA government to address coastal erosion in Lancelin, north of Perth. In Perth, a 20-year-old man will face court this week after allegedly approaching a home in the city's south with a machete. He's been charged with carrying an edged weapon and being armed in a way that may cause fear. It occurred on Saturday. At least 20 people have died after a military plane crashed into a school campus in Bangladesh. More than 170 were injured. And the 48th sitting of federal parliament today will see the ALP holding a massive majority, reducing student HECS debts and urgent childcare reform on the government's agenda. sen.com.au sport coming up. The Giants aren't happy with the AFL's scheduling Friday's Sydney derby to start half an hour after Essendon and the Western Bulldogs game starts, robbing them of centre stage billing. And in tennis, Aussie Maya Joint has lost to Canada's Leila Fernandez in the second round of the Washington Open. Christian O'Connell also out, while fellow Aussie Alexander Vukic is in action this morning.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Yes, good morning. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall on this Tuesday, the 22nd of July. A big hello to you wherever you may be listening on your local SEN track dial or the SEN app. Or you can watch us these days live on the SEN app, our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. Big show coming your way. We'll catch up with the champion trainer, Kira Ma, to kick off proceedings. Naseem Dilmi will join us as well. Naseem had some big news that was announced last night. He's the foreman, of course, to James Cummings, looks after Carbine Lodge in Melbourne, and he's got some big news to tell us. So looking forward to catching up with Naseem. Adam Plenko will join us from racingandsports.com. And then our regulars with the midweek masterclass bag of tips. We'll face the breeze and talk some harness racing to wrap up the Inter-Dominion Carnival with Anthony Butt and Adam Hamilton. And then it's a big last hour coming up on Giddy Up this morning with the Bet365 Country Racing Hour. Chris Finozio will join us after he trained and drove the Inter-Dominion Trotters winner in RC Phoenix. Darryl McClellan, he's one of the legends of the game. And looking forward to catching up with Darryl. He's recently announced his retirement. Gianna O'Donnell at the other end of her career, she rode her first winner at Derby in WA there on the weekend on the dirt. So looking forward to catching up with Gianna. And then Kylie Vella will have a chat to us after she took out the Mildura Cup on Friday. Giddy Up brought to you by Bet365 because it's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. 5 minutes past 8. Let's get stuck into the show. And you can join our conversation anytime you want. 0499 736 736 because you might have a question for our first guest in Kirama who joins us now on Giddy Up. Good morning to you, Kieran.
Morning, Gareth.
Did you enjoy a little bit of break over some of the winter months?
I did. Yeah, it was really good weather in the UK. I was in Greece for about 10 days, and yeah, it was a good break actually. A bit of mixture of work and had a look at a few horses. Tried to buy a few. I probably got beaten on most, but yeah, the market's pretty buoyant. So no, it was a good break.
I just saw you with Mark Sarr, and he's still not back from Bali. I'm a little concerned he might come back 75 kilos. He's been away for that long, Kieran.
Usually the longer he stays away, he's a bit of an enigma. The longer he stays away, the better he rides. So
yep.
I'm not too concerned.
What about the $60 million season? In your wildest dreams, did you ever think that you could reach that figure?
Probably not.
No.
And, you know, like, it's just a great job. A great job by the team and the placement and, you know, some of those taking advantage of, obviously the Everest helped, but, you know, there was, you know, big dances, little dances, gongs, you know, those type races that, you know, you got to sort of plan out and have them right on the day. You know, even races at Cranbourne, like Nadal won the Meteorite, I think it was called. Yeah, it's been a phenomenal job, and it's a bit daunting when you're trying to plan for next year, trying to better it. But anyway, we'll see how we go. But no, it's been a phenomenal year.
Does it get easier now since you've been doing this for a little while? But every year you seem to be getting bigger. What's your biggest challenge in your eyes, Kieran?
Well, we haven't really expanded for the last couple of years. But yeah, it's always about refining efficiencies, you know, focusing on the areas that, you know, you want to improve in. And, you know, we have a lot of locations, making sure the culture is 100% because that obviously equates directly to a performance, you know, attitudes of people and horses. And, yeah, I love it, really. It's obviously a lot of, well, it's more a way of life than a job. But no, it's pretty satisfying when you have a year like that, and obviously always looking at ways that we can improve and do things better, and it's a pretty exciting space.
What's your setup look like now with Leilani Lodge? You take that over shortly, of course. It's that famous racing stables there in Sydney at Randwick. So what will your setup look like now? You had Warwick Farm, you got Bong Bong. So what will it look like in Sydney now?
No, it'll look very similar to what it looks like now. Just the only difference is we'll drop off Warwick Farm when we move, and there's got a bit of works to do to the stables yet, so that won't happen. You know, they won't probably move for another couple of months yet, but yeah, so it'll look very similar. It'll be Randwick, Bong Bong Farm, and our beach facility up at Anna Bay near Newcastle.
Is that one of your goals to get a little bit closer to Chris Waller in the Sydney's Premiership, or where do you try and rate your performance when it comes to Sydney racing with your presence now growing, it seems, by the season there? Yeah,
Sydney's always been a sort of area of focus, and you know, I felt we've improved there each season, and yeah, we're sort of looking to be 50-50, but probably 60-40 at the moment. Victoria, Victoria and New South Wales. So we're sort of looking to be 50-50. There's obviously good money in both, and just placing your horses to that advantage. So the extra 20 boxes, we have 30 at Warwick Farm, so we go up to, I think, about 56 at Warwick Farm when that happens. So, it's looking to get stuck in. Well, obviously, I live half the week in Melbourne, half the week in Sydney, but there's plenty happening in Sydney and in Melbourne, and with prize money, it's the Melbourne Cup now 10 million, and trying to get the I suppose put the puzzle together of finding horses to fit the races.
How excited are you now to train for Godolphin? How many horses will you have for the Blue Army?
Yeah, very excited to be training for Godolphin. Obviously, a global operation and one of the biggest, or if not the biggest. We're around 30 horses. Will come in, a mixture of soon-to-be 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and a few older horses as well. So, that's another thing. I never thought when I first started I'd have the opportunity to train for Godolphin, but I'm really looking forward to the opportunity.
I think the horse everybody wanted to get off Godolphin, the ones that we're seeing anyway, is the Filly Tempted. I think she's already in your stable at the moment, Kieran. What's her aim? What's her big grand final, this preparation? What have you made of her so far?
She's obviously a very, very, high quality filly, and I'll work through. She's probably, she's a little bit away from being ready to race, but I'll work through with the team, Jason and Andy, and work out our program as it unfolds.
I guess the other exciting part about Godolphin is that you go to the sales and try and purchase your next superstar. You're getting these beautifully bred horses and they're put on your doorstep basically, and you get to see if they've got big motors or not.
Yeah, that's right. Like there's some regally bred horses there. They've got a beautiful broodmare band, and I think I spied one there out of Guelph, which will be quite interesting. But really looking forward to it. Actually, there's some lovely horses there.
So you train for Godolphin, you also train for Yulong, and Mr. Zhang has given you an opportunity with a few of his best horses, including the horse that will be going around in the Sussex Stakes, which is the premier race during Glorious Goodwood. And I speak of Carl Spackler, who was very good, I thought, there in the Queen Anne at Royal Ascot for his first run for your stable. However, he does have to beat one of the world's best, if not the world's best at the moment, Field of Gold. How is Carl heading towards the Sussex Stakes?
Well, I feel he's in a better spot, with transactions and weddings and things like that. He had a little bit of an interrupted prep. I was pretty happy with him all the same going into Ascot. But I just feel with the extra time he's trained there in Newmarket, obviously, tracks with elevation and even training tracks that it would be completely foreign to him. So he seems in a really good spot. His fitness is really good, and sort of working back from the race, slightly different to how we were going into Ascot. So he's in a really good spot. But like you said, Field of Gold looks to be pretty well as its name, the Field of Gold. But obviously extremely good horse, and it'll be a very good race. But I think the race back around the bend will probably suit him a bit better. He's probably more what he's used to, and there's probably a little bit more pace early, which will suit as well.
Can I just play a quick game with you? I've got a heap of text messages coming through, and I know that you haven't got too much time, so I thought I might play this game with you. And you can't think about it. Whatever comes to your head first, all right? Your best chances in these big grand finals throughout the spring. And we'll see how you go by the end of the spring. We'll start with the Golden Rose.
Swindon, west of Swindon, our other Coolmore horse.
State
visit.
Yep, state visit. What about the Everest?
Jimmy Star.
King Charles?
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Carl
Yes.
runs. He could be that, it could be Cox Plate. Or even a Champions Mile.
Yep.
But, one of them.
What about the...
Gringotts as well.
Yeah, Gringotts. Caulfield Cup?
Middle Earth.
Cox Plate?
Light Infantry Man.
Melbourne Cup?
Middle Earth. Relentless, yep.
Yep, Relentless Voyage has been very good. A few text messages coming through from him about him. Golden Eagle?
There might be sort of a little bit happening there, but
yes.
Labot was coming over, and possibly another horse to join the stable.
Okay, Male is Labot's pretty good. We're racing the Cole McKenna colours. Was placed there at Royal Ascot.
Yeah, he's a fraction unlucky. Just got held up a little bit, but he improves every time he goes to the races. And I was talking to Harry this morning, actually, Harry Eustace, and he's very happy with him.
Beautiful. What about Derby and Oaks? Is it too early?
Derby, Oaks. It's a bit of a pie in the sky,
Yeah.
but Amazaki.
Okay, Amazaki. And
For the Derby.
and the Oaks?
Oaks. No, too early.
What about the Coolmore down the straight for the 3-year-olds?
Yeah, well, it could be the ones I mentioned earlier.
Yeah. All right. West of Swindon or Tempted or someone like that. Anyway, it's an exciting time, mate. You've got a good stable ready to go. And $60 million is going to be hard to beat next season, but I know you'll give it a crack. Winning at Everest will help. So it's good luck to Jimmy Star trying to catch Cutting Rising. But you should be proud anyway, mate. It's a wonderful achievement for a boy from Warrnambool who headed to Caulfield with just 2 horses, and now you're training a team that's won more than $60 million in prize money for one season, Kieran. Unbelievable. Well done.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, I'd like to thank all the owners and clients and the team that make it all happen. So, no, I was pretty proud.
Yeah, well done, mate. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, Gareth.
Great to catch up with Kieran Maher. We'll take a break. We'll come back with Nassim Deal Me next.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up, Gareth Hall with you. Let's get into have a chat to our next guest in Nassim Dilmi, who is the assistant trainer to James Cummings based at Melbourne, but he's now got a big job working in New South Wales because Godolphin, of course, James Cummings finishes up with that organisation at the end of the month. And Nassim's been a well-respected assistant trainer to James for many a year now, and he joins us now. G'day, Nassim. Thanks for your time, mate.
Morning, Gareth.
Congratulations. Tell us about your new job that you just got.
It's a great opportunity for me to finally step up into a training job, and something that I'm very thankful of Domland choosing me and trusting me to train their horses, and I'm sure it was an easy process for them to pick me, but I'm very thankful for it.
So Domeland are Mr. Zhang. He looks after, well, he owns Domeland, and he's got a lot of horses. He's got a private training facility at Wyong. So you'll be heading to New South Wales to look after that team. So, and Sarah Ryan was the trainer that was in charge of those horses, and now you replace her. So how many horses will you be looking after there, mate?
Well, according to Racing New South Wales, they currently have 43 horses on their books, but there's also yearlings coming up, so we'd be close to 50, around the 50 mark. So it's a good start, they've been in great hands with Sarah as their trainer. She's won a few nice races, and it's good for myself and my family to move back to New South Wales as well.
Was it an easy decision? Because I would imagine you would have got offers from a few other trainers around the country to go and work for them, or were you even thinking about going on your own, regardless if you got this job or not?
Well, I had a few. Funny enough, the first person to offer me a job while I was on holiday in Hawaii when the news broke that James was in Hong Kong, was going to Hong Kong, and the first person that messaged me was Wayne Hawkes.
Okay.
And he along the line said, "I'll offer you a job, but I don't know if I can afford you." It was nice of him to reach out. And the Domland position, I applied for the position before we went away, and I got a few phone calls with them in between, and we were lucky to come up to an agreement, and I was very thankful that they chose me.
Are you going to miss Godolphin? What's it like there? Obviously, Carbine Lodge will finish up at the end of the month, which is not far away now. What's the feeling like there at that famous stable?
It is sad. It's all coming to an end. Most of the horses have gone. As of 10 o'clock this morning, we'll only have 4 horses in training here. So it's it's starting to become real now that it's all coming to an end, and we will have our final 3 runners in Bletchingley this Saturday, and if we can snag a win before the end, that would be great.
What's that place mean to you, and what's James Cummings mean to you and the Godolphin organisation, Nassim?
Godolphin is all about people. There's when we started and we had a lot of horses, there's a lot of employees, and there's every department you can think of, there's people there to help. So it's been a great organisation to work for. Wish them nothing but the best going forward with their multiple trainers, and we will all keep an eye on those horses that we had in training there, and we've been in communication with their new trainers to tell what the horses are like and things like that. So it's they've been really good. And as for James, well, I've been with him for 14 years. He's been nothing but supportive for me when I gave him a call. He was the first one that I rang to say, hey, I'm just thinking of applying for this job, and At the time, there was nothing with Hong Kong. He didn't take the position then, and he said, regardless of what I'm doing, he said, just go for it. You're ready. It's a great opportunity for you, and yeah, it's now he's going to Hong Kong. It felt like the time became, it came all at the perfect timing for myself.
You should be proud, mate. If there was one horse that you could take to train for Godolphin, which one would it be?
Jeez, we've won a lot of races. Let's say if there's a current one that I could take with me, I wouldn't mind a horse like Tom Kitten.
Okay, I love Tommy. Hey, do you reckon you could talk Reggie Fleming in to come and work for me? I reckon you'd be great on the radio. We know Reggie Fleming, the famous assistant to Barton James, and has worked alongside you at Carbine Lodge. He would call a spade, I reckon. Can you talk him into it for me? I don't know what he's going to do, Reggie. He might come and work for you.
I'll happily take Reggie with me. He's been a great help over the years. Even when I started to work for Bart, I was talking to him when Bart had the stables down here in Melbourne, and he's gonna be well missed. He's been a great help. He's got the knowledge of better than anyone I know. If you ask him any result 20 years ago, he can name you the horses off the bat. So Reggie's gonna be well missed, and you could do with someone like Reg on your show.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, mate, I'm proud of you. Well done. You're the best dressed man that heads to the races wherever you may be, whether it's Perth or Brisbane or Melbourne. You've got a big smile that makes everyone's days better when they catch up with you, mate. And if you ever need to go to Perth, you can stay at Jimmy Taylor's place and get the kangaroos, and you'll be able to go there one day. And who knows, you might even get Kementari out of retirement and see if you can give him a go again. But we appreciate your time as always, Naseem, and you should be proud, mate. Well done.
Thanks for the kind word, Gareth, and thanks for having me on the show.
You might have to get Wayne to be your assistant. I reckon you could afford him now. Thanks for that, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There's Naseem Dilmy, the assistant trainer in Godolphin, but now he'll head to Wyong to look after the horses for Domeland, and then he gets a great opportunity to make a name for himself as a trainer now. He's a good man. 8:31, let's take the news, and then we'll come back and reset. We'll take a few of your text messages, 0499 736 736, and then our great mate on a Tuesday, Adam Plenko, will join us from racingandsports.com.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. Australia and 24 other nations have united, pleading for an end to the Gaza conflict. Israel labelling the joint statement disconnected from reality. At least 20 people have died after a military plane crashed into a school campus in Bangladesh. A Royal Lifesaving Australia report has revealed drowning deaths have fallen by almost a quarter in 20 years. And Ed Sheeran is expected to announce another tour to Australia soon with a range of stadium shows. The UK singer-songwriter last toured here in 2023. Up next, SEN Sport. The Giants aren't happy with the AFL scheduling Friday's Sydney Derby to start half an hour after Essendon and the Western Bulldogs game starts, robbing them of centre stage billing. And in tennis, Aussie Maya Joint has lost to Canada's Leila Fernandez in the second round of the Washington Open. Christian O'Connell also out, while fellow Aussie Alexander Vukic is in action this morning.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. If you've got a question for Adam Blinker, maybe one of your favourite horses during the spring, let us know. 0499 736 736, 0499 736 736. And the best set of trials are about to start at Randwick. First trial sees Fangirl, Full Count Felicia, Tom Kitten, V. Sistina and Sardozi going around. And the second trial, you've got Aliana, Autumn Glow, Biowak, Palmetto, Pericles and Woden. So what about those for a set of trials? So if you've got a question for Adam, let us know. 499 736 736. He'll join us straight after this.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. It's 20 minutes to 9. Always great to catch up with Adam Blenko from racingandsports.com. Good morning to you, Adam.
Morning, Gareth. Morning, Gareth. How are you?
Good, thank you, mate. A few questions coming through for you today. So that's 0499 736 736. We'll get to them in just a moment. It's an exciting time of the year because when you have a look at the Randwick trials today, the first trials got Fangirl, the novelist Tom Ketton, I've got to put in the novelist there, Via Sistina Sardosi.
Wow.
Full count for
Connection to
Leisha.
the novelist. Very happy with you.
and then trial 2, you've got Aliana, Autumn Glow, Manal, Lasura, Pericles, Woden. It's a couple of set of trials that you cannot afford to miss.
Yeah, I'll miss them.
Yes. What's your philosophy? What's your philosophies on trials?
I view them in the negative, I suppose. So it's nice to know that horses are back and they're healthy. I don't want to take any positive leads necessarily from them, and I know that some people are talented perverts. I know they can curve well and they can see some things, and that's just not my game. I'm a ratings guy, and I'll stick to my ratings game. I'll play my game, but it's always nice to know they're at least back healthy.
Because every one of these horses you would imagine are going to trial okay, aren't they? They're good horses.
Well, I always laugh, and so this is a running joke in the office. Is all the boys will get the trials on in the morning, and they'll all be looking at him, and Nature Strip trial. Well, he's done 30 horse. They tend to, he can put one foot in front of the other pretty well. So a lot of these nice horses will trial well. Some of them will trial quietly, and I'll be pleased to know that they have.
Yeah, Chris Waller's horses will just go around and they'll drop out and run home. But it'd be fascinating to know from the trial spies, and we've got a couple on our show as well, who are the dead set worst trialers that come out and know that it's race day. I'd be fascinated to know that.
I've said this to Simo in the office as well. And he's a trial perv, unashamedly. But he So he'll fancy himself picking one or two off the trials. He's no good at it, but what he's great at is picking the ones that have trialled badly. So I'm not interested in what he thinks has trialled well.
Yep.
But when he says, oh, gee, alarm bells, once he hits that big alarm bell, I take that a little bit seriously. He's pretty good at that.
We just had Kieran Maher, and we had a good chat to him off the top, and he was fascinating as always. He's coming off a season to remember, $60 million in prize money, mind you. He's got horses all over the world these days, and we went through some of the grand finals and his best chances in those races. Who do you think he would have said for the Melbourne Cup? Without
Melbourne Cup, Kieran Maher.
Yes.
That's a good question. He's got an army of imports, but none of them are leaping into the front of my mind. And the fact that you've raised this makes me think it might be a little bit left of centre.
Well, he went Real Earth, and then he went Relentless Voyager that we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, okay. Well, I understand both of those. And now that you mention Middle Earth, he's very much one of the horses that fits the profile. In fact, I think this time, 12 months ago, I said he would win last year's Melbourne Cup. So swing and a miss there, but I might be right 12 months on. Relentless Voyage obviously hasn't done much here, but he's out the back of a slowly run race that's completely playing to finishing speed on Saturday. So nothing like the test he's after. So he's essentially trialling just for prize money at the moment. So I wouldn't. He's got ratings. Not quite Middle Earth ratings, but not miles from it overseas, and obviously a profile to be better than that in time. So, I won't rag on Kieran's opinion too much there.
No, what can you tell us about an international horse? He says he's got one up his sleeve that he's trying to buy for a Golden Eagle, but he's got Labot, who'll race in Colin McKenna's colours, was placed during the Royal Ascot Carnival. What do you know about this horse and its credentials? Harry Eustace prepares it now. I think it was second in the Britannica.
The Britannia's like 3-year-old.
Yeah, that's it.
Mile race.
Yep.
No, I can't tell you a great deal about it, other than that was a good competitive
the Britannia.
You're running. That's a mile handicap, always fast and always competitive for 3-year-olds. In fact, it's sort of it's almost the Hong Kong checkbooks are out invariably right before that race. It's it's next year's Hong Kong Derby horses as a rule. So that's about if you're running second there and you're running in that, you can't get away with it because it's always fast. The speed figure there is always fast because it's such a big competitive race, and they're sort of flat out just about throughout. So you'd be running to about Group 3 level here, I suppose, there with upside.
Yeah. It's only like the race. I think he's only had the 4 starts, so it'd be interesting to see what he does. Hi, Gareth. Can you ask Adam on his ratings, which is the best local hope and the international hope for the Melbourne Cup, or which international would you like to see in the Melbourne Cup? That's from Murph.
So the best local, are we claiming? I mean, we've got to steal them. So are we claiming Sir Delius now? He's no longer French. He's handed in his papers in Paris. He's ours.
We claimed him in Birchip, home of the Mallee Bull.
Absolutely.
He's a local.
So Delius and in fact Middle Earth would have the same rating as Sir Delius, if maybe not quite the same sort of sparky upside. But I think Sir Delius is the right local. The ones who are still whacking around here, still standing, and they're not gone. As yet, you've got Duke de Sessa, obviously last year's Caulfield Cup winner. The mighty Warband, we've claimed him. He's ours. Now maybe he'll be a better model now that he's ours. Arapaho is still there. That's sort of the standard, but I think Sir Delius, Middle Earth are surely looking at jumping that bar. Maybe a horse like Deacon fit a similar mold, who might have just sort of drifted off a little bit out of sight, out of mind, but he's in the ballpark. And the best visitor was one on Saturday night. At the Curry in Al Rifa, and I know they mentioned straight away afterwards that the Melbourne Cup was on the agenda, and if that's true, then Al Rifa fits. His peak rating when he won a Group 1 in Germany last year was bang in the heart of the 15-year winning average for the Melbourne Cup. He's bang there, and if you look at his form, he is exactly the sort of horse that Matt Chapman will be running around down here telling us is a Group 3, Group 2 horse, and that is absolute BS. Because he's been sparingly seen over there. But what we have seen, if you're any good at measuring these things rather than just making a scene, you'd know that he's very much a Group 1 horse. Alan Riffer. And if he comes down here, he'll be just about the star turn amongst the internationals, I think.
So is he a better bet with Bet365 at $17 than Sir Delius at $13 and Vauban at $13 right now?
Well, he's a better bet than Vauban. I don't know about a better bet than Sir Delius at $13. I think both Al Riffer and Sir Delius are horses that, not necessarily a futures guy myself, but they're horses that if they did punch up the right sort of price, I'd be willing to take the gamble. They fit the mould well enough. And in fact, this Cup, I know we're a long way out from the Melbourne Cup, but it does have a look this year. It's already taking a little bit of shape with horses like that. I saw on the Fine Racing website last night, I saw the English team had written a story about Prestige Nocturnal coming across here for the bodies as well, who's rated 118.19, and he'll go to the Kergolay next, which is again if they've sort of said they intend to come, so he fits very much the international mould that's been successful here as well. So they look pretty strong. I think Admire Terror might be coming down here, who won the big staying race, admittedly in very slow time, but the big staying race on Derby Day in Tokyo there, and he'd fit the mould as well. So the internationals look like they're going to be pretty sharp this year, which is nice. And the locals that we've just rattled through, that looks like a pretty real set to me. So long live the Cup, huh?
Everyone's loving your beanie at the moment. There's plenty more questions coming through. I'll take a break and then we'll come back and chat more to Adam Blenko straight after this.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up with Gareth Hall at 7 minutes to 9 o'clock. You're watching us live on the stream on the SEN app, our Facebook page and YouTube channel. And you're listening to us, of course, on your local SEN track dial or the SEN app. Adam Blenko, the superstar ratings man, is joining us from racingandsport.com. Now, I'm heading over to Glorious Good. Unfortunately, I miss out on the Sussex Stakes. I'm going over there to watch his Furo. But Field of Gold is around $1.50. Does he just turn up and win? And is he the best horse in the world at the moment?
He's very close. Probably for talent, he's something like a match for Kaying Rising, but I think let's not undersell the big Hong Kong King at the moment. I think he deserves the honour. I think it's a shame you won't get to see Field of Gold though.
Yeah,
he's a proper tool, that's for sure. I think Kaying Rising is the best horse in the world. But yeah, Field of Gold, I reckon if he does a right job on Rassallion and co there, and he probably should. I think Rassallion was probably they'd walk away slightly disappointed, even if they didn't say so, not to knock Docklands off in the situation at Ascot. I think if Field of Gold stitches them up good and proper as he should, then maybe then Kaying's got to step back out on the track and prove it all again.
If you're Mr. Zhang, are you setting Carl Spackler for a King Charles or a Cox Plate?
So I own Via Sistina as well, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Among others.
Surely
so
it'd
be very tempting.
Yeah.
You'd think that'd be the logic and maybe the best economic decision, but of course I'm anti the best economic and the logical decisions. I hate logic. I want to see chaos. One thing I would be doing with Carl Spackler is letting him rip. I wouldn't be waiting with him and being cute like they were at Ascot. They went far too slow for him at Ascot, I think. So Mooney Valley would draw that out of him, I'm sure. So that might be. I think Mooney Valley would suit. I think he would get the trip there. So I can see that the Cox Plate is a nice option for him. But if I'm in the ownership there, I do have the extra thing to consider, which is that I own the favourite as well.
Money's no object really to you there as well. So Cooper's got a good question.
This is true.
So Delius is your tip in a Melbourne Cup. Which horse would you? And this is for, I reckon we lose a little bit of the charm regarding one. When I was growing up, it's all about the Cups double, the Caulfield Melbourne Cup. Is there a horse that we could wager on that could do the big Cups double?
Well, it's probably him, really.
Delius.
I think he's the thing that I think is going to stop Sir Delius winning the Caulfield Cup is running in a Cox Plate. So stupidly, it's sort of the thing that might stop Sir Delius winning the Caulfield Cup is being too good, which seems an insane thing to say. But if things go really well, and you know that Gay and Adrian have Robbie in the background there with his historical fun facts, and he'll be just quietly informing them that the Cox Plate's been a wonderful guide to the Melbourne Cup in modern times. So they'll have that in their in the back of their ear there, and they'll have a horse very competitive and very capable. I think he's still got to do a lot more than he's done to date, but it's all promised as much. They'll have the sort of horse that they could be getting involved in a Cox Plate in, and of course they did that with Fioronte as well. So they'll all these things in the back of their mind. So that would probably just make me a little nervous about taking prices in the Caulfield Cup.
I know the Coonji's your favourite race in the spring. Is there one race in particular looking forward to most, apart from the Coonji?
Apart from the Coonji,
yeah. Is it the Everest?
It's very hard to.
The Melbourne Cup, the Coolmore.
Well, it's certainly not the Coolmore.
No.
Leave me out of that.
Yeah.
I won't say. I'll leave it there. It's certainly over further than the Coolmore. It's very hard for me to separate myself from the Coonji. I'm looking forward to. Here's one that I considered yesterday. In fact, you mentioned your Relentless Voyager being a Cups chance there. So he raced a horse called Klondike in the UK. They have formed that intertwines, and Klondike's run a couple of quiet races over here so far. Without putting it together, but I think Klondike is. I'm very much looking forward to backing Klondike in a Colin Stephen.
I'm
I,
gonna.
I assume most people are thinking the same way. And I'm sorry, I'd rather get off track a little bit
Yes.
for you, Gareth, and throw up something interesting. But
No.
Klondike in the Colin Stephen is my best futures
I'm
play
just
for
putting
the
that into
spring.
my black book right now, Klondike. And on that note, Adam, you enjoy your day. Make sure you stay warm. And we appreciate.
I will. I'm repping Uncle Tony here.
Yes, we appreciate your time as always here on Giddy Up. You're a good man. There's Adam Blanco from racingsports.com enjoying his coffee. It's been a busy first hour here on Giddy Up. It's 9 o'clock at news time. Midweek masterclass, facing the breeze, bag of tips to come next in the middle hour.
Powered by Signet. Good morning. I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. South Australian beaches and businesses affected by the toxic algal bloom outbreak are being given a helping hand thanks to a $14 million federal government handout. The state's Emergency Management Cabinet Committee will meet today to address the crisis, while Federal Labor MP Tony Burke was asked on the ABC why the government has resisted calling it a national disaster.
There are particular words that don't fit a legal definition that's there, but that doesn't change the fact that we're treating it as something that matters to the whole nation, that is a disaster and that warrants our response.
Federal Parliament returns today for the first time since the May election. MPs and senators are arriving at a church in Canberra for the traditional service to mark the start of the new Parliament. On the agenda, reducing student HECS debts and later this week, urgent childcare reform. A plane crash at Bangladesh capital Dhaka has killed at least 20 people, including children. The Bangladesh Air Force training jet crashed into a school and college campus. Around 170 people have been injured. The Trump administration has released hundreds of thousands of pages related to the assassination of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. That's despite his family's opposition. And US actor Malcolm Jamal Warner, who played Theo Huxtable in 80s sitcom The Cosby Show, has died aged 54. He drowned while swimming during a family trip at Costa Rica. Coming up next, SEN Sport. The Lions have secured young gun Jasper Fletcher for the rest of the decade, the 21-year-old inking a 4-year contract extension. AFL football boss Greg Swan has ruled out shortening quarter lengths but wants to speed up games by reducing delays at stoppages. And Australia meet the West Indies tomorrow morning in Game 2 of the T20 series after winning Game 1 yesterday.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. All brought to you by Bet365, because it's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead for free and confidential support Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Great to have your company if you're watching us live on the SEN app, streaming live, of course, on our YouTube channel and also on our Facebook page. And you can listen to us always on the SEN app or your local SEN track dial. Now, let's catch up with a few of our experts, first of all, for the midweek masterclass as we look at the metropolitan venues right across the country tomorrow afternoon for a Wednesday. Then after that, it's Bag of Tips. We'll face the breeze as well as we talk all things Inter-Dominion with Anthony Butt and also Adam Hamilton. 0499 736 736 to join our conversation. And the trials are about to start. They're on Sky Thoroughbred Central. You can watch it. We'll keep a close eye on these trials. There's going to be something else at Randwick today. But first of all, let's welcome in Mickey Gannon, who kicks off our midweek masterclass on this Wednesday. G'day to you, Mickey boy. Hello, Mickey.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Good, thank you, mate. We're racing at Canterbury on a Wednesday afternoon in Sydney, just having a look at the track conditions right now for this meeting at Canterbury. And we're racing on a soft 6, the rails and the true. 7 races. Hopefully we can find a couple of winners.
Yeah, it should be a really good day of racing there, G. I think with the rail and true position, you want to be getting off the rails. Let's say lanes 4 to 10 will be the place where the majority of the winners come later in the day. It's suggesting they probably won't get too much of an upgrade, maybe to a 5, but they'll be able to get your toe to the ground there at Canterbury. Let's kick off, G, in race 3. It's a competitive enough race. Shalar Gold, Killanova was good, and McQuessa was also good. There was a protest last time, I think, just on the wrong side of it, but just looking at this race, Shalar Gold's come here off 2 trials, and they've been pretty good. They've been handlebars down and ready to go. So I think with 61.5 kilos is the only query, but I think he's got a bit of ability here. If he runs up to what he did at the start prior to being tipped out for a spell, I think he just wins this, and it'll be handlebars down from Josh Parr out wide, and with the Bjorn Baker polish, getting around $3.50, more than happy to have that place. So race 3, number 2, Shalar Gold might be looking for the Rosemary Breeds late, but I think I'll get the job done, G. Now I'll take you to race 6. Two-horse race here between Metaphorically and the Replicant. I see the Replicant's flying. Produced a near career peak last time out. It runs anywhere near that. It gets the job done. It wasn't a heavy 8. This is going to be a soft 5 or a soft 6, but he has figures, really good figures up and near that level on good tracks anyway. So I don't think the track condition is going to play any real part in how well he runs. And just draw off barrier 1, sits just off them, and rinse and repeat of that. I think the Replicant get the job done. We're getting a good enough price to find out. What was it at? $9 yesterday. It's
650, 220 with Bet365.
Metaphorically. So you can back them both.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you can back them both. I think we can chop out Metaphorically at 340, and I think you can back the Replicant, and away you go. And for those inclined for your same races or things like that, Quinel's Exotics, then that could also be the way to play it as well, Jay.
Beautiful. I love the confidence there. It's been a stellar cameo for you on the midweek masterclass. They're moving in for this much talked about trial in the latter part of July as we get set for the Spring Carnival, which is not far away now. The first of the Group 1s in a month's time, basically, to the day. It's on the 23rd of August, the Wink Stakes. So Via Sistina's going around here, Fangirl, Sardozi. The second trial's a beauty as well, Mickey G. So I don't think we'll learn much about these trials, but it's good to see him. There's Via Sistina. She's looking well as she goes into the gates for J-Mac. So it's good to see him back anyway.
Good to see J-Mac back anyway, G. That's good. You'll be feeling nice and comfortable now. You'll be able to watch J-Mac go around on Saturdays. And
I don't think he's riding for his boots. He's a couple of weeks away.
Isn't he?
Yeah. He's not coming back to August. He'll join us tomorrow, I think.
I'm looking forward to seeing Wanton go around. Really looking forward to seeing him. You reckon Fangirl's going to do this preparation? You think she's going to jump out of the ground?
Yeah. She'll be aimed up at the King Charles. That King Charles is going to be a beauty. It's just a pity that's a week out from the Cox Plate.
It's going to be a great race.
Yeah.
Who's going to train Tom Kitten?
Tom Kitten will be trained by Sam and Anthony Freedman.
What odds do you give me the Novelist here, surely?
Yeah, we should be betting in these trials. You know, half of them will be just coming with one run. The Novelist is going to bolt home Via Sistina's out the back. She'll just do what she always does at her first trial. Fangirl's just in front of her. Tom Kitt and Sardozi aren't doing much, but they're travelling nicely.
Who's in the white colours?
Full Count Felicia's coming through nicely. The Novelist is going around like it's a Group 1 Newmarket and Bolts Home. I think they all trialled nicely. Fangirl in front of Via Sistina. You watch them after the line here, and they do their best work after the line. But Tom Kitten was good, and so was Sardozi. Basically, as expected, they all went pretty well, Mickey. So we'll leave that out to Dean Watling and their trial guy tomorrow to see what they have to say. But we appreciate your time as always, brother.
Absolute pleasure, G.
There's Mickey Gannon. Semi Highland joins us. He's done the form for us in the midweek masterclass at the Brisbane meeting at Eagle Farm tomorrow. They're on a soft 5. The rail's at 12 metres. Hello to you, Semi boy.
Well, Gareth, it's great to be back on with you. I'm just like the fourth emergency, waiting for a run on the bog track, aren't I?
No,
really?
You're not. We're going to get you on Love It or Leave It tomorrow.
I'll promise I'll just give tips. No strong opinions.
No, you can't. You're back on Love It or Leave It tomorrow. So looking forward to that. Yeah. We didn't want to work you too hard. That's all, Sammy. So we'll get you back on tomorrow.
Right now, Eagle Farm,
and we've got a stinger for it as well. We've got a stinger for it. So I wanted to let you come back when we're all ready to go.
Eagle Farm tomorrow.
Yes.
Now. Race 2, number 6, Equine Art. This should have jogged in a few starts back, 3 back, I think it was, at Ipswich, and I put it in the black book. And now it's had a few tries, this 8 to be exact, but it had a tough enough run last time round over the 800. It was 3 deep and punching the breeze, and yeah, it wasn't ideal. Do you know what, Gareth? These horses that have had a few tries, and I don't think that's the way to ride them, up on speed like that and pressure coming on them early. And when you look at her, one of her best runs was that run at Ipswich when she was back and she couldn't get out and she just sucked up behind them. If I was riding her tomorrow, I'd be riding her back in a short race, obviously it's 1,000 metres, back off the pressure of the race and have the last go at him. Get there late. And I reckon it'll win if he rides it like that. So you can get her at $5. Now, race 3, number 5, Velozes. This is Cherry Ripe, the win here. 7 furlongs, perfect. Good gate. It'll sit 1 out, 1 back, and it'll put them away in the straight. She's run well at Eagle Farm before. Yeah, I think she's a great chance, and you can get her at about 3:30. And then race 8, number 3, Acadian Emperor. This looks really well placed. 1,800 is the sweet spot for this horse. He's won twice at the trip. He's been competitive in better races in Sydney, so you should find these easier. And Ange Jones goes on board, so she's got some good rides tomorrow, and I'm tipping her to ride a couple of winners, and I think she'll put that premiership away. So she's 2 in front of Emily Lang, but I think she'll strengthen her position tomorrow. She'll be a few more in front, and she'll take out the premiership this year, which will be.
You there, Sammy? Yeah, it's interesting. Emily Lang's got some nice rides, and Ange Jones had a chance to put away this premiership over the last week, but she couldn't do it. So there's still hope there for Emily Lang, who was suspended, and she's back on Wednesday. Just seeing which rides Tony Golden gave to both of his apprentices. Looks like that Emily's got more rides for the boss.
Yeah, well, Ange is not an apprentice anymore, and but obviously they're both involved in the stable, heavily involved in the stable. So yeah, it will be interesting. Maybe Golan's, picking the rides for them, and he wants it to make it an interesting race to the end as well. But I think Ange Jones will win it. Yeah, I think she'll win it.
All right then, mate. So we'll play race 2.
Gareth?
Yes.
Go on.
Yeah, sorry. Race 2, number 6. Race 3, number 5. So far, Equine and Veloze. Your tips?
And race 8, number 3, Acadian Emperor.
Yes.
I like it too.
Yeah, Ange Jones. Yeah, we did. Sorry.
It's 460.
Yeah.
But have a great holiday, right?
Yes.
I hope. Make sure you go with the tradition at Glorious Goodwood, right? You got to wear the Panama.
Yes.
So I can just see you with the pins in one hand the Panama on top of the sky, because you haven't got a lot up top, have you?
No, not really. I have struggled a little bit of late, but
you'll need a hat because you don't want to get it burned. That English sun, when it comes out, it can be brutal, Gareth.
Yes.
Brutal.
I'm just having a look at my Panama hat. I reckon I can find one. I might buy one when I get there.
Yeah, the tradition over there is the orange band around the top, orange and blue band. Yeah, you'll see it. You'll see a lot of that, Gareth. You'll see a lot of that.
Beautiful, mate. I might have to give you a call just to see if you can send me in the right direction. But I appreciate you as always.
Well, head to Christie's. Head to Christie's in London. They have the best hats.
Yes. All right then. Well, I'll give you a call a little later on for Love It or Leave It, so we can go through the topics.
Right.
See you, mate. There's Semi Highland. Mitchie Lewis joins us. G'day, Mitchie. Thanks for coming to see me the other day when you were in Melbourne. I appreciate you.
Morning.
I know where I stand in your friendship group these days.
No, morning, G. Look, I heard rumours that you were delaying your flight and you were going to be in Queensland, so miscommunication there. I apologise. Hey, are you free this weekend?
What am I doing this weekend?
I'm back over.
Oh, you're beautiful.
Before you leave.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm coming back. So
what's the occasion? What's the special occasion, Mitchie? I apologise, Harry. I'm having a private conversation here with Mitchie live on radio, but anyway.
Grudge match. My wife Chelsea and her family's team are the Saints, and obviously mine are the D's. So we're coming over for the grudge match. So family trip this one, but no, I'll make sure I catch you before you leave this time, G.
Beautiful, mate. You're a wonderful man. Now, Mitchie, we're racing at Sandown on a Wednesday, and we're racing as well in South Australia. I think we're back at Gawler. We are back at Gawler. No, Murray Bridge, I should say.
Murray
Bridge, yep. So we'll start with Sandown. Good 4 rails at 8 metres. There's a little bit of rain, however, around today.
Yeah. So I think it's going to hold up on the track. What I'm doing sort of both tracks, I'm trying to do some early shopping, G. So race 1, I think is a pretty handy race. It continues to firm in this horse. Race 1, number 9, Mini Angel, sort of has that hoof on the till, been really close in its last few. I think it gets the right race map here from barrier 2. Jamie Mellum on. I think your main danger is leaving Las Vegas, but when I did the form last night, we were looking at $5 Mini Angel, and I was happy to work all the way down to sort of 3.
Yeah, Kieran Maher said that's his best tomorrow as well. We had a chat to him yesterday and today, but he did mention that. So I'm just looking at Bet365 now. Mini Angel, $4.20, still a good price.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I think, and that's what this midweek masterclass is about, G. So I forecasted it was going to come in a little bit more, and if Kieran's saying that too, that's why we're getting on early today.
Beautiful. So that's Mini Angel. Jamie Mellum rides there. What else have you got for us?
Look, we'll come back tomorrow and have a look at Saluted. I think you could probably go a little bit lower than the 220 at the minute, but that's a little bit easy, I thought. In race 3, horse number 2, Take Co. Gets another good race map here over the 1,000 metres. I had it sort of down towards that 250-ish, so if you're just shopping smart there, I think it was floating around that $2.80 to $3 mark last night, so I thought he was another one in a race that sort of doesn't have a huge degree of speed outside Mrs. Archibald. I think it gets a really good run. And then sort of one that I'm going to have a little shot to stump that, G. We tipped this horse a couple of weeks ago, race 8, number 2, Falcon of Malta. I thought it was going all right along in the run. Just popped a little bit there, first up 1,600 metres. We're second up 1,600 metres here today. I think heavier place play, but each way, Falcon of Malta.
What race is the Falcon in? Race down $16 and $4.40 for Gavin Bedgecourt. I like that push. Beautiful. What else have you got for us? We'll go to Murray Bridge now.
Again, don't mind Murray. I like Murray Bridge, but I've been throwing up some really short odds in these SA meetings, G. So we'll just see what comes up. But in race 1, horse number 1, Captain Harry for mine for the Oxlades team. Pretty handy there on debut in what I thought was a handy enough maiden. Here at Murray Bridge, I think suited going up 200 metres to the 1,100. There's a few here on debut, and it's sort of proven out of that good form reference, so I'm happy to lean his way. You're better than even money. And then the best one, race 8, number 1, Cateens Club for Stephen Theodore, dropping in grades. I like that for these midweeks. It was okay, 2 lengths behind starts now in a 76 last time, back down to a 56. Likes the track. It's won here before, so I reckon it's going to be pretty hard to beat. But again, I don't really want to float below even money for any of these horses in the midweeker.
Beautiful. So We've got race 1, number 9, Mini Angel. Race 2, number 1, Salute. We'll just check the price tomorrow. Takiko, race 3, number 2. And then we'll play Falcon of Malta each way, but more the place. Race 8, number 2. And at Murray Bridge, Captain's Harry, race 1, number 1. Race 8, number 1, Caden's Club as well. You're a good man, Mitchy boy. Have a good day.
Thanks, mate.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. Beautiful. And you can check out racingqueensland.com.au for where Queensland is racing today. Semi Highland likes race 2, number 6, Equine Heart. Veloze, race 3, number 5. And Acadanian Emperor, race 8, number 3 is also a bet there for Semi. 19 minutes past 9. Bag of tips next here on Giddy Up.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. The Giddy Up Bag of Tips for Oz Equipment Rentals. Supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. OzEquipment.com.
Let's try and find you a few winners now with Bag of Tips. Thanks to Bet365 Top Tote Plus, you'll get the best payout across all three national totes. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. The Ultima Hotel in the heart of the Mallee, just down the road from Swan Hill. Swing by for a cold beer. And Oz Equipment Rentals, supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. OzEquipment.com. Luke Ovanessian at Moray, I should say, today likes race 2, number 8, Halle B. And Annie Rock, race 5, number 1. And at Taree likes race 4, number 3, Too Much Information. Race 5, number 2, Show 'em How. And race 7, number 7, K's Time. So race 4, number 3, race 5, number 2, race 7, number 2. Capulet will be our Bet365 play of the day. Race 4, number 2 at Ballarat on synthetic track. And it's Shepparton tonight in the trots. Race 3, number 8, Hurricane Katie. And race 5, number 8, Scenario. Those are the tips there for Darren Carroll. Race 3, number 8, race 5, number 8, the tips there. We'll take the news. It's 9:25 and then we'll come back and we'll talk some harness racing as we face the breeze. Thanks to Gareth's Horse and Hound, the best range and prices on all equine essentials. Visit horseandhound.com.au. Time for the news now.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. Australia and 24 other nations have united, pleading for an end to the Gaza conflict. Israel labelling the joint statement disconnected from reality. At least 20 people have died after a military plane crashed into a school campus in Bangladesh. A Royal Lifesaving Australia report has revealed drowning deaths have fallen by almost a quarter in 20 years. And Ed Sheeran is expected to announce another tour to Australia soon with a range of stadium shows. The UK singer-songwriter last toured here in 2023. Up next, SEN Sport. The Lions have secured young gun Jasper Fletcher for the rest of the decade. The 21-year-old inking a 4-year contract extension. AFL football boss Greg Swan has ruled out shortening quarter lengths, but wants to speed up games by reducing delays at stoppages. And Australia meet the West Indies tomorrow morning in Game 2 of the T20 series after winning Game 1 yesterday.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. Garrard's Horse and Hound. Stocking the largest range at the best prices. Visit horseandhound.com.au. Live across Australia on SEN Track. This is Facing the Breeze with Gareth Hall.
Time to talk some harness racing now as we face the breeze. All thanks to Gareth's Horse and Hound on this Tuesday morning. Gareth's Horse and Hound, the best range and prices on all equine essentials. Visit horseandhound.com.au. You're listening to Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. You can watch us these days live on the SEN app. We are streaming live every day on our Facebook page and YouTube channel as well. And we just had a couple of sensational heats for the thoroughbreds at Randwick with the trials. V Sistina looked good. even though she finished last. Fangirl was good, so was Tom Kitten. Autumn Glow trialled okay, I thought. So a few of the big guns there, Aliana as well. So looking forward to the spring, which is just around the corner now with those horses trialling. But it's time to talk some harness racing, and what a team we have for you this morning. First of all, a man that's done it all in the sport, Anthony Butt. G'day, Ants.
Yeah, how you going, Gareth?
And Adam Hamilton, who's been covering this sport longer than anyone and better than anyone as well. G'day, Adam.
G'day, guys. Great to be on with you. Still a little bit of afterglow after a terrific couple of weeks, particularly final night. The champion delivered, and the debate rages again where he sits with the greatest of all time, Leap to Fame.
So where does he sit now, Anthony Butt, in your eyes? That's 2 Into Dominions. He's the most successful horse in the history of the game, in Australasia anyway, when it comes to prize money. So where does he sit in your eyes?
Oh, no, I think he's the best I've seen, Gareth. He's, just his longevity and consistency at the top level, and yeah, he's just a complete package, isn't he? Apart from a little bit of gate speed, but apart from that, he's got everything else.
Adam?
I've got to agree. I mean, you can forever look at reasons why not to try and balance yourself and avoid being caught up in the excitement of the moment. But now lasted 3 years with this horse. So I think to Anson's point, maybe longevity. When he burst onto the scene, we knew that he was a very rare talent and one of the most talented we've seen. But he's now got the body of work behind him, and importantly, he's been to New Zealand and done it as well, which gets a massive extra tick for me. Whether it's a New Zealander coming and winning here, like a Lazarus, or a great Aussie going and winning over there, like many of them have, particularly Swayze, even in the last couple of years. So. It was interesting, late last week I did the ring around. I enjoy it during the Inter-Dominions, talking to some of the past champions, and I mean the people. Brian Hancock, Brian Gaff, Mark Purdon, Barry Purdon. Ants and I spoke at length about it. Even Jeff Webster after the races on Saturday night. The list goes on, and all of them, not all of them say he is the very best, but all of them say he's as good as anything we've seen. So, and they are the greatest of greats, aren't they, Ants? Those names that have been the Inter-Dominion, they've been the essence of our greatest event, and they're all in awe of this horse.
Yeah, and they've been around, go back a long way, Adam, don't they? And I've seen, a lot of the champions before our time, like the Cardigan Bays and the Popular Arms and those sort of horses. So they'll have a pretty good grasp on things. So, it's high praise from people like that, yeah.
Would you be saying this if James Herbertson was able to keep him on the fence with his lack of gate speed, Ants?
Well, Grant just finds a way to get off every time, doesn't he? And,
but how does he, Ants? How can you, in a big race like that, drawn gate one, he's the biggest threat to everybody in the race, and he gets off the fence every time? I find that staggering. Now, I'm not a driver, but I don't see it when it happens.
Doesn't Gary Hall Jr. do it?
But he's allowed to. He's allowed to. He's allowed to. Not from gate one.
He does it at different stages of the race.
Not at the start. Not at the start. Gate one, you're allowed to. In Perth, the rules are you're allowed to push out, and Junior does that better than anyone. You're not allowed to do that in the other states, but I've never seen Junior get crossed from gate one at the start and get off. Grant Dixon has got that happy knack to doing that. I will start with you, Adam.
But I'm trying to understand the point you make. Are you suggesting that James Herbertson didn't want to keep him in a pocket or let him get off?
I'm just suggesting. How does it happen? I just want to know. I'm not suggesting anything. I just want people to explain to me why is actually how does he get off that easily in a Group 1 Inter-Dominion?
Grant Dixon spent 35 years driving in hundreds of thousands of races at Albion Park and knows every inch of the camber, the track, the movements, the time to do it. And that's Ants. That'd be like you at Addington, wouldn't it? Tell me the advantage of knowing every inch and every quirk of a track as far as making.
Please, Adam, you can't say just because he drives at Albion Park he can get off the fence anytime he wants from the pole. Anyway, Ants, you have your say here.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of intent from the other drivers to keep him on the fence, was there? Most of them were probably, the ones that could have done it were driving the long shots, so they were probably not wanting to burn or do too much and get the cheapest run possible. So, I think if, someone like Luke McCarthy with Donahue or something had been in that position, it might have been different. So it's, they've got to want to keep him down there.
But I can't. So, like, James Herbertson then had the opportunity to do it, and then all of a sudden he's facing the breeze outside of Leap to Fame in the worst possible spot. So that's what I'm trying to get at, Adam.
I don't understand. Yeah. No. But what I'm saying is, you're saying James Herbertson opted not to put Leap to Fame in the pocket. Are you saying that?
I'm looking at the replay right now. I think that he could have done a better job to try and put Leap to Fame in a pocket. Like, Leap to Fame's got no gate speed.
Why on earth would he want to sit outside the leader?
Then why
would he want to sit outside the leader?
We were talking about this on Friday, and you didn't agree with me saying that it was in James Herbertson's best interest to make sure that Leap to Fame is in that pocket. But for mine, he had to keep him in the pocket, or try to anyway, because that's the situation he would have been. He would have been he left to, and that's sitting outside the leader. Whose side are you on here? You with Adam or me?
No, I think I'm on yours, Gareth. I think we could have been more intent to keep him on the fence if they really wanted to. But the only thing I would say is James Herbertson was probably going to be parked, and there's a lot of talk about Speak the Truth was going to hold the front, and he thought he may be going to get the 1-1 on Leap to Fame, but that didn't work out either. So.
No.
I think. That
then raises. I'll go back and watch the replay again. I think that also leads into another question. We'll agree to disagree on that, because I respect both of your opinions so much. But the other point to Speak the Truth is the distance. So 3,100 metre mobile. Back in the old days, 3,100 metre stands when horses had to come off handicaps, different story. But 3,100 metre mobile, I'm apart from the occasional Fremantle Cup, and I only mean the occasional one, and racing's different at Gloucester Park to everywhere else. Last time we had those distances, people went to sleep during the finals at Menangle. Like, it was the wrong call. If it's 2,600, so put yourself in Nathan Dawson's shoes and on Speak the Truth. Leap to Fame gets to you with 2 laps to go. And there's really good prize money for running second. You can understand handing up. But if he gets to you with a lap and a bit to go, you might be a little bit braver.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Adam. I think, 2,600, they may have rolled the dice and parked him, and given it a shot. But, I agree with you. Like, we've seen it time and time again with the long distance at Menangle. It didn't work. I go back to Alexandra Park when our Savant Slot won. It was a 2-mile mobile. It was a bore fest. It just hasn't worked, so I'm sure they'll have a good look at it and change it for next year. 2,600 is a great distance for for these sort of races.
So if it's 2,600 metres, Adam, are you believing that Leap to Fame doesn't get the front? And that means Herbertson's 1-1 on the back of Leap to Fame, and he's in a perfect spot.
Well, he'd be on the back of Leap to Fame. Yes. I'm not saying it's a given. Shannon Price is great. She's very open and honest. She doesn't give her drivers instructions. She said pre-race she would have no qualms with holding the lead, because Leap to Fame has been outside of Speak the Truth. Speak the Truth's been outside of Leap to Fame in so many races. So, but she was going to leave it to a champion driver like Nathan Dawson. And Nathan's take was he got to me so early that it would have been detrimental to my chances. But that's my point about 2,600. I think it was more likely Speak the Truth could have taken up the challenge in a slightly shorter race. So, and to that point, I did mention this on social media, and as usual, you can't have an opinion, otherwise you get shot down. So, but my point is, like, 2,600 is still a staying race. It's just not a particularly long staying race. Like, tell me how the extra 500 metres in any way is going to make that a better race than 2,600. Think about those blacks or fakes we've had.
Yeah, I know one way it would have made a better race if they kept him on the fence. It would have been entertaining 3,000 metre race. He would have been 4 back the fence, and he probably might not have got out, and that would have been a disaster for everyone that backed him. But and probably not the best for the game in a
Well,
way.
not for everyone that backed him.
Yeah.
But no, it would have been a disaster for the game because everyone would have said, "Oh, standard harness racing, you get locked away and you can't get out." It's the greatest broader discussion around the sport, isn't it? So we introduced sprint lanes, which have backfired in the most spectacular way for us because they've created the most boring racing, lack of moves, horses handing up when they wouldn't normally hand up. So I think part of the situation is ditch the sprint lane for
I
step
agree
one.
with that. Why can't you get rid of the sprint lanes, Ants, as the head of the Trainers Association?
Well, I sort of disagree because as a driver, we don't really care if the sprint lanes are in or not. 9 times out of 10, like we drive the same. Like how often you see a horse hand up at Melton sort of thing, that's a leader. So I think it's a bit of a overblown sort of argument. Like I said, we just drive the same. If you're on the lead and you want to lead, you lead, and so I think it's a bit of a fallacy, really.
I think the best racing clearly in Australia, if you ask me, Ants, is Gloucester Park. No sprint lane, 800-metre track, and you can push off. So you see drivers use their skill, and you see that a lot where drivers get hoisted 3 wide. I reckon that's the best, most entertaining, most competitive racing in the country.
Yeah, well, it's entertaining, Gareth, but how many times do you see horses go across the line not getting a run? Punters hate that, so there's fours and against. The barrier draws are so important at Gloucester Park. Like, I see horses go around 100, they draw 9, they're 100 to 1. Next week in exactly the same field, they draw 1, they go around $1.50. It's
I'd rather that than it melts and they hand up and they go 61 first half and no one makes a move these days. At Menangle as well, no one pulls out of the 500.
I think there's probably somewhere in the middle, and driver intent is a big issue, isn't it? Because we don't have a sprint lane at Ballarat, but the racing's no different at Ballarat to it is to Melton to Ansell's point. But then you go to a place like Mildura, and it's extraordinarily competitive, albeit they're very low standard of horses. It's action-packed racing anyway. I guess you'd put it that way. So probably a lot of the races there are last horse standing, aren't they? The other point we need to mention, and I know we're dwelling on negatives or questions here, but that Albion Park track, it's a long time since we've seen as biased leader and peg track as that on a feature night, isn't it?
Ants?
Well, the whole carnival, Adam, wasn't it? Like, I drove Harry Stammer in the Trotters final, and I went to the fence because thinking that it's the only show you got to get some money because it was just so hard to get any money off the fence and back and wide, So it's a bit of a thing that's happened everywhere, really. I think it's just the standard of the horse nowadays. They just go so fast and they don't stop. So
they don't stop when you go on 62 seconds first half. That's the problem.
But anything off the fence, but working that much harder.
Yeah.
There wasn't many they went 62 seconds first half. Like I think the scene was set in race 1 when very average horses went 150 and change, and the two that were leader and leaders back beat the rest by 30 metres. At that stage, I thought, and what in 8 of the 10 races, either the leader or leaders back won, and then I think in 7 of those they ran the Quinella. Now that's disturbing.
We're going to take a break. We'll come back with plenty more. Some news is coming through before that. Hesitate has got a slot in the Eureka. He takes Johnny Singleton's slot, I think. So that's good news for Mickey Harvey and the team there. So Hesitate, that was second in the Derby in Queensland on Saturday, has got a slot in the Eureka. We'll take a break. More of Facing the Breeze next.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. We're facing the breeze thanks to Gareth Hall, St Howe, Adam Hamilton, Anthony Butt with me. RC Phoenix was too good ants in the Trotters final. If Kiang Sahara drew where Oscar Bonavina drew there on Saturday night, would she have defeated RC Phoenix with the way that the race was run?
No, not the way it was run, Gareth. Like RC Phoenix, he dominated from the front. Once he held the front, he was always going to be hard to beat, wasn't he? And, Oscar Bonavina's run was huge, really. I don't think the horse could go much better, but, what we were talking about before, you get back and wide, it's very hard to reel on the leaders.
Yeah, Adam?
No, nothing could have beaten from back in the field. Nothing could have beaten RC Phoenix. I think if Bet and Win hadn't have lost the shoe early, you could see nearly gallop 2 or 3 times, particularly straightening for home. So I don't say that he would have beaten RC Phoenix, but I think he would have run up to him and made a bit of a contest down the home straight. If you put the best Kiang Zahara in behind RC Phoenix, I think she could have really tested him, potentially beaten him, and gee, the way Oscar went, if he was sitting behind the leader too, he would have been awfully hard to beat, wouldn't he? But all of this, I don't for a moment want to take away from RC Phoenix. He's now been to New Zealand, and he's won their biggest race, their richest race, and he's come back here and he's won an Inter-Dominion, and he is the perfect result, Anthony Butt, of a trainer letting the horse tell him when he's ready to take the next step. It's been a masterclass from Chris Venozio, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's just been beautifully handled all the way through, Adam, hadn't he? And he said he's always had a lot of potential, and but Chris has sort of taken his time with him and gradually exposed him to the real top level. And as you said, over the last 6 months, he's got better and better, and he's the benchmark now, and he with Just Believe retired.
We'll take another break, then we'll come back and have a look at the classics. And then we've got your questions. There's plenty of opinions coming through, which is great, Adam and Ants. And we'll see what the boys would change if they gave us some advice to race in Queensland and what you might do a little bit differently heading towards next year's carnival. This is Facing the Breeze on Giddy Up, all thanks to Gareth Horse and Hound.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. This is Facing the Breeze. Let's have a chat about the derby. Ribera went straight to the front, Adam, and once he went to the front, it was all over, basically. Hesitate, who's just got a slot in the Eureka, finished second.
Yes, so I guess the big debate is, the decision to take a sit on Hesitate, the way the race played out. I can see why, and I think the end of the race arguably justified their decision to hand up to some extent. You can debate that forever, but maybe he would have been able to lead throughout and win, but 2,680 metres is a long, long way for a really brilliant speed horse like Hesitate, and I think they did the right thing driving him to try and outdash Ribera late, in the expectation that Ribera would have copped a bit of mid-race pressure. Now, that mid-race pressure never eventuated. It ended up playing into the hands of Ribera, and he was too good. But what I will say is Ribera won untouched with the plugs in. So I think there's a chance Ribera sits on Hesitate and runs him, Gareth. And the rest of them, Fader Waits was enormous, given the circumstances. I think he's the best of those. And the run of Sea the Stars, wow, has he gone to another level, guys?
Even Wayne Hawkes knew about Sea the Stars. That's how good he went there on Saturday night, of course, owned by his old man, Johnny Hawkes. Would you have handed up on Hesitate, Ants?
Well, it's a hard one. Luke knows the horse a lot better than me, Gareth, and he obviously thought that was his best chance. Luke's not one to hand up for nothing sort of thing, so he knows the horse, and he probably thought it was his best chance.
I think Adam's right. If he doesn't hand up, he cops more pressure than Ribera cops, because Ribera's probably got a little bit more respect over a staying trip. Hey, what'd you make of Captain's Mistress? She was the odds-on favourite, and she was brave in the Oaks. But well done to Robert Watson and Mickey Stanley, who got the job done with Soho Americano. Ants.
Yeah, the draw was always going to be hard for her. She's a great filly, but as we talked about before, the carnival played out. Anything on the fence had a huge advantage over anything had to come wide. So she was still good, but mixed filly's been great all year and beautifully driven as usual by Luke, and it was well deserved.
I Keep Smiling was massive in the Golden Girl, Adam. I've got about just under 50 seconds left, and I've got to take the news. Can you stay for an extra 5 minutes? Because I've got all these text messages coming through, Adam.
Yep. I will. Put off my meetings. That was the race of the night. What a mare. 10 in a row, 2 Golden Girls. She'll end up breaking $1 million. She's a champion mare to do what she's done.
No, she was sensational. I agree. I couldn't believe it, what she did there on Saturday night. She defied, say, the pattern on the fence, to run the times that she did. What a remarkable mare she is. It's quickly approaching 10 o'clock, and your text message is next. 0499 736 736.
Powered by Signet. Good morning. I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. Politicians have attended church ahead of the opening of the 48th Parliament in Canberra. The Prime Minister, Opposition Leader Susan Lee and the Governor-General gave gospel readings. Anthony Albanese says the church service is a great tradition.
Wonderful way to begin the parliamentary year.
Pressure is mounting on the WA government to address coastal erosion at Lancelin, north of Perth. Well, the federal government has acted on the toxic algae bloom devastating the South Australian coast, providing $14 million to address the issue. Documents relating to Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination have been declassified by the Trump administration, despite the opposition from the civil rights leader's family. 230,000 federal government pages over the 1968 assassination have been released. White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt was asked if they can release these documents. Why not the Jeffrey Epstein files?
The president has said if the Department of Justice and the FBI want to move forward with releasing any further credible evidence, they should do so. As to why they have or have not or will, you should ask the FBI about that.
Meantime, Donald Trump has threatened to block funding of a stadium for the Washington Commanders if the NFL side refuses his demand to revert back to its old name, the Redskins. And cricket is facing its ultimate test, according to a new climate report, warning extreme heat and pollution are putting players at serious risk. More than half of IPL matches this year were played in dangerous conditions. Coming up next, SEN Sport. Australia A will resume on 1 for 76 this morning, needing to pile on the runs in their 4-day match against Sri Lanka A in Darwin. Sri Lanka made 6 for 485 declared. And in tennis, Alexander Vukic has won the opening set of his first round match at the Washington Open. Fellow Aussies Maya Joint and Chris O'Connell both lost their matches.
For Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour.
This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. Thanks for joining us. This is the final hour. We'll continue on Face the Breeze, all thanks to Garrett's Horse and Hound. We've got plenty of questions coming through. Of course, Garrett's Horse and Hound, the best range and prices on all equine essentials. Visit horseandhound.com.au. Adam Hamilton and Anthony Butt with us. Bring back the stand and make these races more interesting, and saying that they don't work in big races is rubbish. Just look at the New Zealand Cup. The once Great Hunter Cup is now nothing more than a snooze fest. No moves to get a good position, and they stay there. That's from Bomber. Your take on that, Ants?
Well, I love the stands, but I think the days are gone, really, at this top level. So, I can see the point. The Hunter Cup was a pretty good race this year, but no, the New Zealand Cup had always worked really well being a stand, and but it's hard now with so few stands for the horse to get used to it.
And Bomber, you tell me the last time a New Zealand Cup was entertaining. Most years there's been 2 or 3 chances, they get to the front and they walk. So it's nothing to do with standing starts, Adam. You handicap mobiles, and you can do that by putting, say, Leap to Fame Gate 1 or outside the second row, like they did, and sometimes they fluke in some of the bigger races, and then you get the best races. You can still handicap mobiles instead of stands.
Yeah, but we've also got to be careful about whether we want to handicap our greatest race, don't we? The Ladbrokes Cox Plate is our greatest race. I think in racing, people may see it differently, but it's a terms race, isn't it? Shouldn't the end of the Dominion be won by the
Should we really be disadvantaging the best horses in our absolutely greatest race? Look, the New Zealand Cup is a beast. I love it. It's really, really special. But what we found in Australia, and people have got a habit of recreating history here, is by the end of the Hunter Cup, the best horses weren't running. They didn't.
We just lost that in there a little bit.
Yeah, we just 20 or 30 metres. So
yeah. No,
I'm just saying, Leap to Fame wouldn't race off 30 metres in a major race, Gareth. Simple.
Yeah. So I think you can handicap mobiles in a way, whether it's the Inter-Dominion or a Hunter Cup, but the Melbourne Cup's our great race. It's a handicap race. And I think harness racing, and I think we've got to look down that path because you can't have wait for age Cox plates all the time because you're going to get the best horses actually going straight at the front and winning. I think there is an opportunity where, and sometimes we fluke it, like in a Hunter Cup, where you get to see some horses get to the front over others and Leap to Fame has to sit in the breeze. So I think you can work around.
I've got to jump in here. People are so reactive. We've just had a couple of great races. We had an amazing Hunter Cup, Swayze against Leap to Fame, an incredible Hunter Cup. The Miracle Mile was an absolute classic. Leap to Fame got beaten. He didn't just turn up and win. And then over in New Zealand, probably the best race of the year so far was the race by Betcha when Leap to Fame sat outside Don Hugo and beat him. Let's not overreact to one race, Gareth. This is lunacy to want to reinvent the wheel because of one race.
I'm saying that there's got to be, with no standing starts in handicap racing now and harness racing, there's got to be a race where the handicapper has to go to work and you can work out, and it can depends what race it is. You wouldn't do it to all of them, of course, because you have the Miracle Mile and a Hunter and Victoria Cup. But I reckon there's one race where you can handicap and give opportunities for others. I'm not saying all of them, but they do it in the thoroughbreds with the Caulfield and Melbourne Cup, and which are iconic races.
They do, but then you're probably your very, very best weight for age horses don't run in those races, do they? And that's where we were getting to with the Hunter Cup, unfortunately. And that's just a fact, like your very, very best horses in the last few years of the stand weren't running. But on a brighter note, and I don't have any details, but I've just got some high-level turnover figures on the Inter-Dominion final night. I'm probably speaking out of school a little bit, but apparently it's broken all records, obliterated all records. So,
which is great.
So even though there was a $1.20 chance, and I think they'll really build on this carnival, like to break all records when you got a $1.20 favourite or shorter in your absolute marquee race. It looks like the trotting race has stood up sensationally well too, which is another vote of confidence in the trotters in this part of the world. So as soon as I get those full figures, I'll share them with you, Gareth. But the initial figures are a monstrous success turnover-wise.
And talking to the team there at Racing Queensland, doesn't matter what race he's in, Leap to Fame breaks the records because of his popularity. Doesn't matter what price he is. So he's a horse that is transcending the sport. As a casual punter who is increasingly following the trots, I find it very confusing with the various setups at each track. The number of horses off the front row, sprint lane, no sprint lane, emergencies, etc., needs to be standardised across the states. That's a good point, Adam. We might get Darren Carroll and get a bit of a masterclass into punting and harness racing, because once you work it all out and you can analyse speed maps, it's a great code to bet on.
That's a really relevant point. We live it and we're used to it, and it's second nature to us, the variations between states and tracks and venues. But you're right. To a casual punter who is betting on harness racing, there is no consistency, is there? And all life is about being creatures of habit, and consistency is what breeds confidence. So we have got way too many variations. There's no doubt about that.
Well, it's been a thoroughly enjoyable facing the breeze. Couple of times a little fiery, but that's what it's all about, Ants and Adam. Ants, thanks for your time. Any winners for us coming up, mate?
I'm driving a trotter on the APG final on Friday night. I'm having the trot. I think you'll be happy to beat.
I'm having the trot. Beautiful. Adam, have you got a winner for us?
Well, wherever the Sea the Stars runs next, unbelievable run. This horse has gone to the next level, so they're going to hopefully he can get his way into the Eureka. He deserves to on what I saw the other night. It's a discussion for another time, but I think this Eureka is going to be won by a 3-year-old this year.
Okay, and Hesitate's just got a slot. Any other horses that got a slot just yet? Fade away.
Bay of Biscay.
Yep.
Fade away till gets Seymour's. Bay of Biscay's got Rob Watson's. Then you would think like Mickey to success might get in. It's going to be interesting how the next couple of weeks take shape. It's not that far away, September 6th.
No, bring it on. Thanks, Adam. Thanks for your time. Thanks, Ants.
Good on
Love
you
it, boys.
guys.
Appreciate it. That is Facing the Breeze. Thanks to Gareth Horse and Hound, the best range and prices on all equine essentials. Visit horseandhound.com.au. The Bet365 Country Racing Hour continuing on the theme of harness racing. What about this performance by the Victorian from just outside of Romsey in country Victoria, RC Phoenix, doing what he did there on Saturday night to win the Inter-Dominion Trotters Final.
Deeper out, making his move. They're into the home straight. RC Phoenix corners with the lead. All out Parisian Artiste. Bet and Win gets to the outside. But RC Phoenix, the Phoenix is rising and he's got into Dominion glory. RC Phoenix too good. Beating Bet and Win. Oscar Bonavina.
Yeah, it was a great win by RC Phoenix. He held the front and from there he dictated terms and never looked like getting beat. And his trainer driver, Chris Finozio, joins us. Chris, congratulations. Has it sunk in yet, mate?
Yeah, it's sinking in. It was a fantastic night. We were very proud of him, and it was great to win an Inter-Dominion.
When did you realise that the front was going to be yours?
Well, he sort of began pretty good, and once we'd sort of gone 100, I felt I'd held him, so I was pretty happy about that at the time.
And he's just hard to get past when he's out in front. Did you always feel that you had that race in control?
Yeah, he got a bit keen out in front, but had my main danger on my back. Probably Bet and Win was travelling pretty good, but once he lost contact around the bend a little bit, I was pretty happy with that and was able to kick away. So it was a good feeling going up the straight at Albion Park.
Yeah. Can you describe that feeling for us?
It's something I've probably would have been looking to do since I was a young kid, so it was, you sort of don't believe it probably a bit, and coming back to scale when you know your family's there waiting, it was just very special.
And he's been a special horse. You've taken your time with him. He's always showed potential, but he's got better at every preparation. Did you believe that he had this in him?
Yeah, we've had a lot of confidence in the horse. He's just he's got such a great attitude, and he's a beautiful horse. And he's continued to improve. I think just a seasoning of racing against the good horses, it's really made him. They don't all get better and better, but he's just seemed to keep getting better and better each prep and each campaign. So it all worked out terrific on Saturday night.
How much more improvement in him? Can he keep on getting better? And we're seeing it with a few trotters over the years, and the perfect example to all of that was Just Believe. He was placed in one Inter-Dominion, and then I know he changed stables and he went on to some great deeds after that, but as soon as he had a couple of seasons under his belt at the highest level, he was a different horse.
Yeah, I hope he's got more improvement in him anyway. He's handled everything so far, and he's had a lot of travelling the last couple of years, going to New Zealand 3 times. And, we hope he can keep stepping up or at least maintain that level for a bit longer yet.
Yeah, so what do you do with him now?
He'll have a few easy weeks. We're just on our way home, actually.
Yeah.
So we'll get him back to Romsey this afternoon, and then we'll see how everything is over the next couple of weeks, and if everything's good, we'll look to go to New Zealand for the Dominion in November.
Oh, how good's that? So how has the trip been back home? When did you leave?
We left yesterday and got to Menangle last night, my dad and myself and the 2 horses, and then, we're sort of well on our way. We got up early this morning, so should be back in Romsey just after lunchtime.
Oh, beautiful, mate. Well done. Say good day to your old man for us. Congratulations, and you should be proud. You've been one of the very best in the sport for a while, but it's great to see you've got a superstar horse now that's won you an Inter-Dominion, and hopefully it's the first of a few more. Well done, Chris. Thanks for your time, mate.
Thanks very much, Gareth.
There's Chris Finozio there, 15 minutes past 10. We'll continue on the Bet365 Country Racing Hour next. This is Giddy Up. You're watching us streaming live on the SEN app, as you can do every day, also on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, and listening to us on your local SEN app or your local SEN track dial. It's great to have your company on this Tuesday morning.
for Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour.
Out, Dress Circle's got the run, the setter. Here comes the runs wide out, Henderson Bay and last year's winner, Mr. Prudent at Asia down the setter. Down to the 300, Hales hit the lead. Henderson Bay grabbed him in a stride. Mr. Prudent drew alongside of Henderson Bay. Spirit of Westbury starting to jump out of the ground. Henderson Bay in front, trying hard, Mr. Prudent and Spirit of Westbury. Henderson Bay clinging on. Mr. Prudent lunging. Mr. Prudent coming at him. No, I don't think so. Henderson Bay may be in the cup from Mr. Prudent, but it's a tight go.
Henderson Bay was successful, ridden by Daryl Digger McClellan, who recently retired. He was one of the great characters of the racing game. He rode more than 1,700 winners. Henderson Bay Sydney Cup was one of 2 Group 1s for Digger. He also won a Galaxy with Magic of Money, and he joins us now on Giddy Up. Well done, Digger. Congratulations. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Yeah, cheers, Gareth. Happy to be here.
Was it a difficult decision to retire? Again, I guess?
No, not really. I was getting towards the end and I've had a lot of injuries and I want to just be able to walk away really without and still have a good quality of life, really.
Yeah, so you hurt your shoulder after a nasty fall and then you retired and then you came back and you made that comeback and rode for 8 years. Was it a case where it was just too painful to go on, or was it a case where you didn't want to continue to damage that shoulder and then not have a pain for you? You're going to probably have pain throughout your life now, but just so it doesn't get any worse, basically, Digger.
Yeah, it was a bit of both.
Yeah.
Obviously, I heard it like you say, in 2009 and 2012, I had a shoulder replacement, but I had that time off and it was going, everything was really good until I obviously fell off on end of the year last year, like 29th of December, and I dislocated and fractured it, and because I had the shoulder replacement, and that's a bad shoulder anyway, so it's just very, very painful again now, and yeah, that was a big decision, and plus, I was getting towards the end of it anyway.
Yeah, you had a great career, and you're well known amongst the Australian punters, and you were good from the get-go. You won a Sydney Apprentice title, so you've always had success from the start. Was this something that you always wanted to do?
Yeah, well, I never rode a horse until I was like 18.
Unbelievable.
So I just got straight into it. I had a good had a really good master, Pat Farrell. He was great with apprentices, had a lot of horses, get you going very quickly. So I was just fortunate enough that I could just naturally ride. So I was only there for 3 months and then got probation. He got signed up and like 6 weeks later I was riding in race. So I got going quite quickly.
Yeah, so why were you, why did you start race riding at the age of 18? What inspired you to do it? What enticed you to do it?
Actually, apprentice spray painter, and I was getting there, and obviously apprentice get all the crap jobs. So they're sanding away and sanding the fingerprints off my fingers, and they were all punting the guys at the workshop, and because I was tiny, I was I would have been like 40 kilos at that point, and they all telling me about how good I'd be to be a jockey, and I thought to myself, I'm sick of sanding these cars down, so I might give that a crack, and that's how it all started.
Yeah, and was it just easy for you to ride a horse, or was it? Sounds like you're a natural.
Yeah, well, I can remember back when it was when I first started race riding, I just thought, even riding, I thought, is this all it is to it? That's how easy it was for me to do it. And, and it was obviously, I won the Apprentice Premiership in Sydney, and I won it, every year around the country, then the provincial and then the city one. So, it come really easy to me, actually too easy to me.
Yeah. What do you mean too easy? Did you think that can you explain that for us?
Well, I just didn't achieve what I should have.
Yeah. So was that a case where you didn't put in and you should have been in town a lot more, Digger?
Yeah, well, I actually, from my apprenticeship and the early stages of my jockey career, I did ride in Sydney all the time.
Yeah.
So, and I honestly didn't stay focused. I just had I didn't have the right people around me to make me push what I had. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you still had a wonderful career. 1,700 winners over 28 black type races, a couple of Group 1s, 7 Group 2s and 14 listed races along with 5 Group 3s. So it's a career that most would love to have. Is there one particular moment that stands out for you, Digger, as your most favourite moment on a racetrack?
Yeah, I reckon it was a Group 2 win, actually, and it was a Newcastle Cup in hometown.
Yeah.
And obviously, it was the 2000 Olympics, so we had a standalone Saturday at Newcastle, and that was probably the first ever one they had, and the crowd was huge. It was the biggest meeting I reckon I've ever seen there at Newcastle, and to win me hometown cup, that was a massive thrill. The crowd was unbelievable. Just that was a great thrill.
Yeah.
Obviously, them Group 1s and that's big too, but Golden Roses and stuff like that. They're huge. They were very exciting. But that Newcastle Cup, I reckon, stands out for me more than anything.
So a silent impact back in 2000. Yeah, there's nothing like your hometown cup. Was there a jockey that you really hated or you respected the most competing against?
I don't really dislike any jockeys, only because I know what they have to go through. I know what they have to do.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll obviously get heated and have blow-ups.
Yeah.
But that's as far as it goes. I respect anyone that does it, really.
Was there any great... sorry, did you go?
Yeah, no, I just, I wouldn't say I disliked anyone.
No. What about who was your greatest rival in a way that you used to love competing against?
I never really had a great rival. Probably, if anyone, it was probably at home at the provincial, like the Newcastle track. Probably Mad Robbo, Alan Robinson.
Yeah.
But I didn't really see him as a rival because obviously I'm mates with him. So, but yeah, if that's probably one. I could say.
What about any great punting stories, Digger? Obviously, you wouldn't have punted, of course, but when you were riding a horse for a trainer or a big owner and they pulled off a plunge, did you enjoy it when the money was on?
Yeah, well, the old saying was that they get their saying there's plenty for you, but that didn't come to pass a lot of times.
The slings didn't exist, Digger, you're telling us.
we got the money, but
that's just
the part where they said there's plenty for you never happened.
Well, I'd be disgusted. We work with Tags close. He used to complain that as well when he never got the sling when he rode it at 11 out of 10. But hey, we could talk all day, mate. You should be proud with your bloody career, mate. And as I said before, every punter knows who you are, Digger, and we've backed you plenty of times and you haven't let us down. So enjoy retirement, look after yourself, but congratulations on a stellar career. And whatever you do in the future, mate, we wish you the best of luck on behalf of everyone here on SEN Track.
Cheers, Gareth. Giddy up.
Yeah, good on you, brother. Thanks for that, Digger. Digger McClellan there. He's a great man, and what a jockey he's been. And I loved his honesty there as well. He probably could have got a little bit more out of his ability, but still, when you have a look at his resume, most jockeys would love that. 2 Group 1s, 7 Group 2s, 5 Group 3s, 14 listed races and 1,700 winners. Well done to Digger. We'll take a break and we'll come back with, we've got the news, and then Gianna O'Donnell's at the other end of her career. She rode her first winner in the Derby Sprint in Western Australia on Saturday.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. Pomp and ceremony to dominate the first day of the 48th Parliament in Canberra. MPs and senators attended a church service first, as is tradition. A new peer-reviewed study has found a 4-day work week improves both physical and mental health, reduces burnout and boosts job satisfaction. Documents relating to Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination have been declassified by the Trump administration, despite opposition from the civil rights leader's family. And Prince William and Kate's oldest child, Prince George, is turning 12 today. Up next, sen.com.au sport. Brisbane's Lachie Neale has told SEN their run to the finals will be the perfect preparation for September action. The Lions' last 5 home and away matches are against finals contenders.
We will get some really good feedback on where we're at over the next 5 weeks, which will qualify where we deserve to qualify. There's some teams that are humming at the moment, and we come across a few of those in the next few weeks.
Eddie defeats Shu.
For Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour. The Western Whip Around. Tune in to Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West.
So now deeper is Valerock looking to finish on all 5. Still a chance. Charlton Eddy. O'Donnell goes for the stick. Rowie Clam, Yardstick and Shoe Way late. Charlton Eddy. Shoe Way coming at it. Shoe Way and Charlton Eddy. Charlton Eddy. That's Sian O'Donnell's first winner as a race rider. Charlton Eddy defeats Shoe Way.
Very popular victory there on Saturday at Derby. Charlton Eddy for Sean and Jake Casey. Winning the Derby sprint. Gian O'Donnell was in the saddle. She, of course, is under Simon Miller there in Western Australia. We know Gian because she was the girl that looked after the superstar Amelia's Jewel throughout her career and when she was with Simon. But it was great to see her get her first win in the Derby sprint there on Saturday. And Gian joins us now. Well done, Gian. Congratulations.
Thank you. Morning, Gareth. Thanks for having me on.
Has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, it hasn't. I'm still so overwhelmed with everything that comes after the win. So, yeah, I don't know if I've had a moment to just sit there and just really think about it yet. But, yeah, it was a great thrill.
I know there was plenty of people that were over the moon to see you do what you did there on Saturday. We had a chat to Sean Casey yesterday. He said this was a operation that was planned a long way out, so you must have been doing a little bit of work on Charlton Eddy before, of course, the Derby sprint.
Yeah, I knew I would be riding in the Derby sprint probably 2 weeks prior or something like that. So I was riding a little bit of track work on him. I think I only saddled him twice before I ridden him in a race. So yeah, he's a very special horse. He's yeah, it's his world. We're just living in it. Yeah. But he's a sweetheart, and yeah, no, it was a good run into it.
Explain the emotion there after the post when you realised that you'd won your first race.
When I went over the line, I didn't want to go the early crow before the line. But when I went over the line, I had a little peek to the side, and I just dropped my head down, and I just looked down, and I couldn't even explain it. I was speechless until I got around the back, and Jerry Noski called out to me and said, "Well done, G." Yeah, and I couldn't even speak. It was an incredible feeling.
And would you believe your boss Simon Miller was there on track?
Yeah, he was there. He was in a holiday in Broome, and made the effort to come come and support me while I was there, which I was really grateful for. It was a bit more comforting to know he was there. It was really special.
Yeah, they tell me he was crying. Can you confirm or deny those rumours for me? Because he's a big softie at the end of the day.
He had his glasses on, so I'm not sure.
My mail is he was crying, Gian. He was a proud man.
Oh, I can't confirm or deny. The glasses were on. The glasses were on for a long time. So
and they tell me there was great scenes at Bunbury as well. Your father was riding at Bunbury, Sean O'Donnell, who's one of our favourites, and I reckon he wished he could. He was just pulling up, I reckon, after one of the races, and then he heard a roar in the jockey's room. And then he realised it was for you after you won your first race. Have you had what was his first conversation like when you had a chat to him?
He was a little bit speechless, I think, as well. He was a little bit upset that he missed it because there was a bit of a delay, but he ran in just in time to see me go over the line, I think, and it was actually funny that race that he come in from Sean Casey. Sean Casey's horse had beat him in the Bolton, so he was like, "Well done, Sean, but you beat me in the Bolton."
I reckon even though he got beat, he would have been very, very happy for you. And tell us a little bit about your journey, because we got to know you really well when you were working closely with Amelia's Jewel. And then was this a situation that you always wanted to do, make a graduation, I guess, from being a track work rider and a very good rider, and then make that transition into race riding?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a jockey since I was little. I was always going to the races with Dad and finding any days off school that I could score to go to the races with him and strap a few horses. And then I was took up being an apprentice when I was a little bit younger, 17, but I quickly decided that, it was time to grow a bit more and learn a bit more before rushing into anything so serious like that. So I went away to Melbourne for a little while and did a bit of track work and that for Gay Waterhouse, and met some lots of lifelong friends along the way that taught me a lot. And then I come back home and I really wanted to crack down and become a jockey. It was still in my heart that I wanted to be one. So I approached Simon one day and I asked him in the near future if he would consider taking me on. And I was lucky enough for him to say yes, and we just took off from there.
Yeah, how bloody good. And is it everything you expected it would be?
It is. Yeah, it is, and some things, take you by surprise and that. But it's all just learning, and you just take every day as it comes. Every day is very different, but I've got a lot of good support around me from everyone. So it's
And is it good to get that first win under the belt? It's not a bad race to do it in a derby sprint.
Yeah, it was so cool. You never think the day's going to come, your first winner, let alone your first race ride. But it was great to do it for such great people.
Yeah, the Caseys and the Daly family as well. Wally Daly's been a great supporter of WA racing. So where do you race next?
I'm heading to Roebourne this Saturday.
Yes.
I've got 4 rides, I think. Just confirm this afternoon with all the trainers, and then I'll probably head to Northam next Thursday, I hope.
Yep. And then you got to beat your dad in a photo finish. Surely that's one of your goals.
Yeah, that's one of my goals. Yeah, in my first day at the races, we were actually next to each other in the barriers for my first ever day. It was really cool.
Yeah. And you can tell your dad you've ridden Amelia's Jewel and he hasn't. What was it like to ride her and your association with her? Do you miss her these days?
It was actually my sister that.
Sorry, Gian. I apologise, Siobhan.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, your sister.
But it was great to see her do all that with Amelia's Jewel. It was really cool.
Yeah. Did you So with your development now, so how long have you been riding all your life as well?
I was more used to, my sister and all of that were into all the show jumping and all that, and I did a little bit of that, but I wasn't ever interested in really doing it, so I was always at the races and And as soon as I could get my track work license, I did, and I think I was 16, and then it never stopped from there.
Well, congratulations. You deserve all the success that comes your way, and well done. That was a day that you won't ever forget, and I know that everybody was so proud of you to get that first victory under your belt. So well done, Gian, and hopefully it's one, or there'll be many more now, and we wish you the best of luck come Saturday at Roeburn.
Thank you so much, Gareth. Thanks for having me on.
Good on you, Gian. Thanks for that. You're a star, Gian O'Donnell there. 10:41, let's take a quick break. We'll catch up with Kylie Vella, who took out the Mildura Cup there on Friday afternoon.
The military fights on up along the inside.
for Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour.
The military fights on. Up along the inside, Favourite Child going for a rails run. Harmonious Simonora is emerging. Favourite Child with the run on the fence. From Dubai Poet having another go. And Harmonious Sonora right over the top wins the Mildura Cup. Hard to cross, followed it through, runs second. Dubai Poet.
Yeah, Harmonious Sonora was too strong. This 5-year-old mare by Glass Ammonium for Kylie Vella, who's got a great association with the Mildura Race Club, and this was a horse that was first up for a stable, and it was a success in the Bet365 Mildura Cup, and Kylie Vella joins us now. Congratulations, Kylie. Well done.
Thank you very much, Gareth.
I know you love coming to Mildura, but this was an extra special victory for yourself and your family and the stable.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was, a race that we've probably been targeting for a couple of years now, but we've never sort of had the horse for it, and it was just lucky for us. Sonora came into our stable about 7 weeks ago, so we were pretty excited.
So how long have you been at Mildura now?
So we've been up at Mildura now for nearly 3 weeks.
Okay, so it's just you were at Colac, weren't you?
No, I haven't sort of trained at Colac for about 3 years now. I actually got kicked out of there.
Oh, there you go. You did actually. So what happened? So you've been at Mildura now for 3 weeks. You enjoyed the club there?
Look, they're just, been fantastic to us. We've been coming up here for about 4 years now, I think. Every winter we get away from home for about a month to 2 months and come up here and, train from here. But, look, they've been fantastic to us. Jamie Lanyon, who now, is CEO of the club, and Matt, the president, and Murray, obviously, who does the track curating here. They've just all been so accommodating. We've made lifelong friends here over the last 4 or 5 years. So, it's just terrific.
How did you get this horse? Obviously, I see Chris Calthorpe's in the ownership group.
Mark Arrowsmith, the main owner who bred her. We've trained horses. Well, I actually trained my first horse for Mark, and she was a winner, Portrait Lass, many, many years ago. So, we've had a long association with Mark. We had quite a gap in between. We sold some horses over to Singapore with Mark. And he approached us 7 weeks ago to take some horses for him. So... and the rest is history, I guess.
Were you confident going into Friday?
We were actually. At home, she was sort of just going through the motions at home before we got up here. We sort of discovered just like a couple of little niggling injuries, as athletes. They have those niggling injuries, nothing major, and we sort of got on top of those. And when we got here, she just flourished, getting on the course proper. Every time she sort of had a gallop, just switched her on and just brought her right on, and her work leading into it was fantastic.
So how many horses you working at Mildura?
We only brought the 6 up with us.
Yep.
So, but we're actually going home with 7, so
okay.
That's nice.
There you go. And how was the Cup Carnival?
Look, it's great. I mean, the main reason I suppose you come up here is the climate. Most people come up here to retire because the climate's so good. I mean, down home, I think it's rained nearly every day or every second day, and you're getting like a top of 10 or something. Up here, you might get we had a shower of rain through the night last night, but like the days are beautiful, they're anywhere from 16 to 20 degrees. So the horses love it and we love it.
So how many people would train at Mildura now? Because there's always been a few trainers there, but it's a situation where there's a few meetings at Mildura, but the nearest track would be Donald and Swan Hill, I would imagine.
Victorian side.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think there's only probably 4 trainers, I think, within the area. But yes, closest tracks, obviously, Swan Hill, Donald. You have Manangatang and probably Warwick Nabil, Matoa. But, it's extremely hard for trainers up here, to train from here. Like, it's hard enough down south where, getting riders and staff, but To be up here training, it's extremely hard. You know, you can't sort of get the calibre of track riders and stuff that you get down home. And I'm just obviously lucky enough that I have Steve. He does, you know, all of our track work. I jump on one from here and there, but and we have Zoe back at home that comes and gives us a hand every morning for a couple of hours. But yeah, it's extremely hard to train from here, and the rating sort of, once your horses get to a rating of say 60, 63, well, you're buggered, because most of the races up here are 58s and lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's extremely hard.
What do you do with Harmonious now?
We've sort of had a look at the calendar. She's pulled up extremely well. The plan is to get some sort of stakes race with her, obviously for the breeding barn later on. Mark wants to breed with her, so that is the plan at some stage. We were thinking of giving her, you know, a week or two quiet or a break, but she's pulled up really well. So we'll probably look to run her in the next couple of weeks, obviously heading back home soon so we can do that. But, yeah, so she's pulled up terrific. We'll just pick out a race for her and, yeah, get her up there in the grades and then hopefully tick off a listed race at some stage.
Well, it was a great training performance, Kylie. Well done with her, and it was great to see you win a Mildura Cup, which means so much to you as well. And, yeah, well done to the club for having a couple of great days there. We had Wayne Hawkes that went up to Mildura, and he said it was a brilliant day there on the Friday, so we might have to get there next year. But job well done, Kylie, and thanks for joining us on Giddy Up.
Thank you very much for having me.
There's Kylie Vella. Harmonious Sonora was too strong in the Bet365 Mildura Cup. We'll take a break and we'll come back and wrap up Giddy Up on this Tuesday morning.
For Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. So a few questions I didn't get to throughout the morning was bring back the stand in the harness racing, and who was it? I think it was Bomber giving an example of the New Zealand Cup, and I said, well, the last couple of New Zealand Cups have been boring because the favourites just rolled to the front and been able to dictate terms and win the race. So and then Bomber says, tell me what was exciting about Saturday night's race, Gareth. I don't think there was too much excitement. They were once Leap to Fame got off the fence, it was all over, and RC Phoenix the same. So I reckon it's a 3,000 metre distance. I agree with Adam Hamilton there that they've got to look at that and maybe make it to 2,600 metres, because if it was 2,600 metres, maybe Leap to Fame doesn't get the front and they hold him out. But it's always a good debate. I think that you can handicap harness races to make it more interesting. But yeah, it is good debate. Debate is healthy if you want to try and make the sports better. It doesn't matter what code you're talking about. That was Giddy Up, all thanks to Bet365. Thanks for your company. I'll catch up with you tomorrow.